The Electoral Reform Group was launched at the weekend, and starting from January 2021, it will be rolling out a full year of consultations with residents to understand their concerns and get suggestions. During an interview with the newsroom, coordinator Lawrence Lachman Singh said two of the major issues to be addressed is the acceptance of elections results and representation of the people after the winner is declared. Lachman Singh pointed out that the quality of representation provided by parliamentarians and regional democratic councillors needs to be examined.
But we can already tell there are at least two challenges that are of major concern. And one is the acceptance of results, regardless of who wins and who loses. We've had a constant challenge, and maybe that point would have been raised in the remarks that were shared with you earlier, my opening remarks. Losing an election should not mean losing everything, and winning an election shouldn't mean winning everything. So the challenge of our elections in terms of election results remains an issue, whether it's in terms of how we add them all together or how we get the parties to live with the results of those elections. And what happens after the election in terms of the quality of representation that citizens get from representatives who move forward to either parliament or regional councils or local governments.
However, Lachman Singh was keen to point out that the group will be relying on citizens' responses to make its final submissions. Another coordinator, Carrie-Ann Cantonali, told the newsroom that suggestions will be compiled and then used to advocate for required changes.
And engage on as many discussions as we can related to reform, challenges related to the electoral system, and those kinds of things. Once we're able to start that, as we move along, we want to continue building partnerships with similar groups who might have similar interests, and then move to a stage of consensus building. So we want to take the input that we receive from the citizens, negotiate with them, and we want to be able to use this to, essentially develop or advocate for the types of reforms we want to see and the changes we want to see.
The Civic group will also be reaching out to the diaspora for suggestions. Political parties whose buying are needed to push through the changes to the laws, rules, and regulations governing the electoral process will be engaged after the consultations. The other members of the ERG are economist Desmond Thomas, who wrote a book titled Electoral System Reform for a Diverse Nation, The Case of Guyana, former head of physical sciences at the University of Guyana, Alfred Bolai, retired professor Rory Fraser, and others. They are hoping to have a final report in 2022 and start the actual reform process. Bibi Katun, Newsroom.